So the most important thing that every new player should understand about the Isle is that in the game, there are 3 places where you can go. So there are sanctuaries, there are patrol zones, and there are migration zones. So sanctuaries are good places to find your dietary needs, like your nutritional values. In sanctuaries, there are red mushrooms that spawn all over the ground, and you can see them on your compass with like these omnidirectional arrow icons. Eating these mushrooms will fill up every single nutritional value type and will be absolutely beneficial for you right at the get-go. However, if you're playing as a carnivore, you can still go to sanctuaries, but it might be a little bit more difficult for you to get all of your nutritional value types there. But if you are really, really lucky, you might find other players that you can attempt to hunt, and you might get a great opportunity to start going into finding your nutritional values through the organs of player bodies. The next thing is the patrol zones. Patrol zones are essentially mini migration zones, and they are very, very plentiful with food, especially plants for herbivores. So if you are starting to lose out on a singular diet or 2 diet types or all 3 of your nutrient types, don't worry, because if you are a herbivore, you can go to these patrol zones and they will spawn abundantly. So if you need anything there, you can definitely fill up at a patrol zone. For carnivores, you can also go to patrol zones, but it's not guaranteed that you will find anything there. Naturally, carnivores are a little bit harder to play, simply because it's just not guaranteed that any players will be anywhere, or if any AI will spawn in a player's stead. The next thing is the migration zones. So the migration zones basically act as almost like a hotspot or a meetup place. So everyone on the map can see where the current migration zones are. Some of them may be different, but some of them may also just stick to the same place. Sometimes they do rotate, but I've noticed recently that they haven't been rotating as much as they should be. But anyway, so you can go to a migration zone essentially as like a meetup point. You can go there just to see if there's anyone else there. It's essentially just directing you into a place where you can go if you wanted to. So, sanctuaries make herbivores' lives very easy with the mushrooms and of course the patrol zones, but when it comes to carnivores, there is a whole separate system which is designed around their diet by itself. When you kill a player, these player bodies contain organs, and each of these organs has a different value of nutritional type. So, for example, you can pull out lungs, which will always give you A, which is also known as carbs, and you have the heart, which is giving you the B nutrient, which is proteins, and then you have the intestines, which is going to give you the Y nutrient, and that is essentially your lipids. Your stomachs, however, the stomach will give you whatever the highest percentage nutrient was before the animal you killed died. So for example, if you killed an adult Maiasaura, for example, and this Maiasaura ate a lot of B nutrient, you would primarily be gaining B nutrient from the stomach apart from anything else. So it's the highest percentage value of what that animal was eating. So as a carnivore, when you're approaching a body, you can tap E to break it open, which should start making the body look like it's degrading or rotting or something like that. And you can tap G or double tap G if the body is slightly too small to bring out the organs for you to see and inspect what they are. So that's always good to know, that even if a certain dinosaur type is not on your diet list, the body is not entirely useless to you. So you can still eat it and it will still give you nutrients with the organs alone. The next system I want to talk about is bleeding. So when you take damage, you may be inflicted with bleeding. These blood drop icons will start depleting. You will bleed out faster if you are sprinting. So make sure you either walk, trot, or ideally sitting down to slow the bleeding. Once the blood drops are emptied, your screen will fade to black and you can die. It is possible to survive it, but it is not very likely. Alternatively, if you find mud pools, you can wallow in these to stop the bleeding and prevent you from being tracked for a very short period of time. However, if you do start taking damage again, these wounds will reopen and you will continue bleeding from where it was left off. The next thing is it's really important, especially if you are playing with friends. When you spawn in on some servers, you can go to your character profile tab, and if you go and click on group, you should see something called a spawn code. A spawn code is a code that you can give to up to one friend, and they can input this code into the Dino select screen, and they should spawn nearby somewhere around you once you accept the invite. So unfortunately, these codes are one use. However, you can daisy chain the codes. So if you have multiple friends, you can invite one friend and they will spawn nearby. Then your other friend can also send their spawn code to your next friend, and you can keep daisy chaining like that. The next important thing to know is the dinosaur calls. So every dinosaur has 5 distinct calls. You can press 1 to broadcast, which is a long-range call and is useful for finding other players of the same species. You can press 2 to friendly call and signal to others that you are friendly and you mean absolutely no harm. Press 3 to threaten call, which is the complete opposite of the friendly call, and let them know that you are not friendly. Or you can press 4 for a distress call, which is good for letting people around you know that if you see danger or if you are in trouble and need a bit of help. You can also press F to manually make a generic call. This is the sound that plays by default when you type something into the chat. And the bonus tip, nesting. So once you've grown to 50% or more, you can nest in other players after partnering up with someone of the opposite gender. Or you can nest as a solo female with the parthenogenesis mutation. You can hold N directly opposite your partner to initiate courting. Once the character profile says you are paired, you can tap N on the ground to place down a nest. Nest types may be different across different species, so you may have to hold to build or gather sticks that spawn on your compass. You will also need to have gestated eggs in the nest menu before you are able to lay them. It will take approximately 5 minutes to incubate them after being laid, but from the nest menu you can also select whether or not each egg is private or public, and you are also able to accept incoming invites from here too. If you have friends that you are reserving eggs for, there should be a 4-digit code that appears on your nest menu, and you can just give your friend, and they should be able to input this code on the eggs section on the Dino select screen. And there we go. I hope these tips help you and prepare you enough for either your first play session, your second play session, or if you just want a reminder on how these mechanics work and what you can do with them. As an addition, I have opened up a Discord server, so if you have any questions about anything else related to the game, or if you need any technical help with the game, I can also try and help you with that. Or if you just want to chat about anything dinosaur or have a general discussion about the Isle or any other game that you might think would be great to check out or anything like that, please don't hesitate to stop by. Until next time!